morning, everyone. It is like 9:30, 10ish, and I have decided to do some simply cooking. So I'm going to cook this one. It's beef rendang. However, I'm going to cook it with chicken thigh. So you just need basmati rice, rump steak, onion, coconut milk, vegetable oil, beans, and potatoes. But like I said, I'm doing it with chicken. This is what the recipe looks like. Super easy. This recipe is like Indonesian, Malaysian, and I used to eat it a lot. It was like my favorite thing when we were in Bali. So this is what I've got. I've got green beans, potato, chicken thighs, because chicken thighs always cook really nice in a curry. I have spring onions, so I'm going to use spring onions instead of normal onion. See how that works. And coconut milk. I also have my rice ready to go, but because I'm not going to be eating this straight away, I'm going to cook all of this first and then do the rice afterwards. Alright, let's get chopping. There's not much to chop on this one. It's literally just potatoes and beans. With these potatoes, they're baby new potatoes. So the really small ones I just chopped in half. The other ones I chopped into quarters. Just for the pure fact of cooking time. I would have left them all in halves, but I just wanted to make sure they were nice and soft and well cooked and basically just fell apart in the curry. So I just wanted to give them a little hand. With the green beans, it said to use 120 grams and the packet was 200 grams. I didn't weigh it out. I just guessed it. It could have been too many. I probably could have used the whole packet, to be honest. And probably, yeah, just judge me. I probably wasted a lot of beans chopping like this because who does that? But I thought, you know what? Better than one by one. So if anyone has some bean cutting advice, let me know. So I threw all of that into the pan along with the spring onion because remember I didn't have onion to use. I wasn't quite sure how many spring onions to use. See, like they just fly everywhere. If anyone has spring onion chopping technique, I tend to chop quite quick, but I swear to God, they just roll all over the place. I found them on the microwave, on the floor. Even this piece that I'm about to pick up, it just kept rolling straight back off the board. So I only did one. I probably could have done two, but I just didn't want it to be overpowering. I wasn't really sure how many to do. So I threw all of that in the pan with a little bit of oil. I did put salt on it, which wasn't in the recipe, but I figure it's good to season things. I put them in first, which wasn't at all what the recipe said. I think you were meant to put in the chicken first, but I knew the potatoes were going to take longer to cook, and I knew that as soon as the chicken was chopped, I was basically going to throw it into the pan as well. After I'd done the spices, I always do the spices in the order that it says, because I figure there's a reason for that. But with the other ingredients, I just kind of wing it and do what I feel like is the right thing to do. So I was trying to chop up the chicken into smaller pieces just to make it more even. I didn't want to leave them as big chunks in the curry because I think if they're smaller, it disperses a lot better and you get a lot more chicken, whereas sometimes when you serve it, you get all the veg or someone gets all the chicken or something like that. So I was trying to make it even. The last pieces of chicken, I just popped in a Ziploc bag and put it into the freezer because it's always handy to have some spare in the freezer. So this is the first pot. Don't ask me what it is. I do not remember. But I popped that in and I cheated and put in a second pot at the same time, which I was not meant to do. I did actually, because there was quite a bit of oil in there and you won't see it on here. I did actually tip some of the oil out and then I put this second pot in. But I tipped the oil out before I did that because I didn't want it to be a really oily curry. And then I took it over to the sink really quickly, just put a little bit of water in there. And then I decided it wasn't enough. So I went back and put a little bit more, which I can't remember if you see on this or not. But I wanted to have enough sauce or gravy, as some might call it. I didn't want it to be dry and I wanted the potatoes to have enough liquid to be soaking in. So I threw the chicken in because I knew that it was on a really low heat as well. And I should have shake the tin of coconut milk before I did that, because I'm pretty sure most of the coconut milk went into the actual curry. What was left looked more like coconut water, but anyway. So I threw the chicken in. It's on really low heat, so it's going to cook slow, which is not what the recipe said at all. This is meant to be quick. It's meant to be like a 20-minute recipe. So I could have turned it up, but I thought, you know what? I have time. Let it just cook itself off nice and slow. I put the last of the spices in the top, mixed it up, and then I basically just left it there to do its thing. While it was doing that, I tidied the kitchen, sorted myself out, because if you guys know me, I don't like to have a messy kitchen. I like to tidy as I go, but I don't want to ruin the food, so I picked the most opportune time to do it, which was now. So all of the little pots go in the recycling, and the packaging that it comes in, the cardboard packaging, all goes in the recycling. Recycle as much as you can. Make sure you thoroughly clean everything. We're using fairy antibacterial liquid, because, you know, coronavirus and all that. We've been using that since the beginning of lockdown. I have a really big supply of it. So which is really great for things like when you're chopping up raw chicken, because I get really nervous about making sure things are really clean when you've been cutting raw chicken or any kind of like raw meat. But chicken is a little bit iffy, to be honest. So I wipe down the benches as well. I've got Dettol and Fairy Degreaser kitchen spray, which you will not see me use in here. However, I am constantly cleaning my kitchen with Dettol, because when you're cooking in the kitchen, I always wipe the benches down every time I cook. I wipe the stove down, anything that I use. I always wipe the sink down as well, because, you know, everything you clean goes in the sink, yeah? So tidy the kitchen, wipe over all the benches, make sure you've got everything. If there's chicken that's fallen off onto the bench, because you know it happens, just put some Dettol on there. And then go back and check your food, which I'm about to do any second now. Yeah, don't waste water. Yeah. Okay, so look at that. It's coming along nicely. It's not evaporating too much, so I'm going to do my rice. I'm the worst at rice, you guys know that. I wash and wash and wash until the water comes out clear, and then the biggest tip I was given is to put enough water in there until it comes up to the first line on your pointer finger. One of my friends puts butter in his rice and salt. I don't do that. I do put a little bit of salt, and as you will see in the clip coming up, I must have lost concentration for a second there, because the water did boil over and made a bit of a mess on the stove and on the pan. Like I said, I'm a bit hopeless with rice. However, in saying that, it did actually turn out quite nice, apart from the little spillage. So I ended up keeping this on the stove. I turned the heat off and I kept it on the stove for a bit. We ended up eating it at maybe like 12:30. But I can tell you the one thing with rice, practice makes perfect, yeah? So you can see the colors are coming on. The food was delicious as always. Right, we're all done. I've turned the heat off from the chicken. The rice is still cooking because I don't think it's quite done yet. And then I'm just going to leave it on the stove because it's not even 11 o'clock yet and I can't eat this right now. It's for lunch. So if I'm home alone, I tend to have my lunch around 3, and it's like a bigger meal, like my bigger meal of the day, rather than having my bigger meal being dinner. And then when I get hungry at say like 7 or something, I just have like a small bowl of cereal. I'm excited to try it and see what it's like. Their curries are amazing. Their flavors are always just so rich. So, and the Balinese curry, you know what I think about that. That was something. Next time I get that, I'll do a little video with the Balinese curry. It's very similar to this. It had beans and potatoes in it, chicken. Obviously this was meant to be with beef, but I went with chicken today because that's what I had. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll pop the link in the description again in case you guys want to try Simply Cook. You can get a free box just by using the link in the description. You don't have to pay for anything. If you decide you want to sign up after that, it's $9.99 per box. And you can have them delivered weekly, fortnightly, monthly. You get 4 recipes in each box. You get to pick your recipes ahead of time. They won't ever just send out something to you. You can pause your membership if you need to. So if you're going on holiday or something, you can pause your membership. You don't have to just cancel it or continue to get orders when you're not there. So anyway, click on the link below if you like it. I'll keep doing these videos. I don't know if they'll be weekly or not, but it will be like a little segment. So I will speak to you guys next time. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye guys.